My name is Evelyn. For months now, I've been trying to forget the night it began, the night I found the key. It was small, rusted, and cold when I picked it up from the pavement outside my apartment building. No tag, no chain, just a simple brass key lying there in the rain like it had been waiting for me. At first, I didn't think much of it. Maybe someone had dropped it. But when I brought it inside, something strange happened. The lights flickered. The air felt heavier, colder. I told myself it was nothing, a coincidence. Maybe the old wiring again. But deep down, a small, quiet voice whispered that I had made a mistake by touching it. That night, I couldn't sleep. The key sat on my nightstand, reflecting faint light from the window. It looked harmless, but every time I closed my eyes, I heard faint sounds in my apartment, like footsteps just beyond the door, or someone softly breathing near my bed. The next morning, I tried to get rid of it. I left it in the alley behind the building. By afternoon, it was back, sitting on my kitchen counter, still wet as if it had just come from the rain. My hands trembled when I touched it again. On the underside, faint letters had appeared, engraved so lightly I almost missed them. They spelled one word, return. I didn't know what it meant. Return to where? To whom? That evening, I went to the building's basement, searching for answers. The air smelled of dust and iron, and every creak echoed like a whisper. In the far corner, I found an old locker, its lock rusted, but shaped exactly for a key like mine. My pulse raced as I slid the key in. It fit perfectly. When I turned it, the sound that came out wasn't metal, it was a sigh. And somewhere in the dark, a voice whispered, "You shouldn't have come back." The voice was so close, I felt the breath against my ear. I turned, flashlight shaking in my hand. But there was no one there, only the locker door, half open, and a smell like damp earth, and something faintly metallic. Inside the locker was a stack of old papers, curled and yellow, and beneath them, a photograph. It showed a young woman standing in front of this very building, my building, but it looked older, half ruined. The woman's face was pale, her eyes wide, and her hand. She was holding the same key. I stepped back, heart pounding. On the back of the photo, written in the same delicate handwriting as the word return, were 4 words. Find what was taken. That night, I couldn't stop thinking about her. Who was she? And what had been taken? When I finally fell asleep, I dreamed of corridors long, narrow hallways stretching endlessly downward. In the dream, I was following someone. A woman in a white dress, barefoot, her hair dripping as if she had come from the rain. She didn't turn, but I knew it was her. The woman from the photograph. When I woke up, the key was gone. I tore the apartment apart looking for it, under the bed, in drawers, behind furniture, but it had vanished. Until I heard it, the faint metallic sound of something scraping the floor. I froze. The key was moving, slowly, deliberately, across the tiles toward the door. My body refused to move. I watched as it stopped right in front of me. Then, with a soft click, it turned itself, like unlocking something unseen. The door opened. A gust of cold air swept in, carrying the smell of soil and old stone. And somewhere in the hall, a light flickered. At the far end, a figure was standing still, almost human, holding an identical key. The figure didn't move. It just stood there at the end of the hallway, half hidden by the flickering light. My heart was beating so fast I could barely breathe. I took one small step forward, and the figure did the same. Another step, another echo. It was mirroring me. When I reached halfway down the hall, the light above us went out. For a few seconds, there was nothing but darkness, and the sound of our footsteps, mine and its. Then the light came back, and the figure was gone. But on the floor, where it had stood, there was a door that hadn't been there before. I don't know why I opened it. Maybe because I had to. Maybe because the key in my pocket was suddenly warm, like it wanted to be used. I knelt down, slid it into the lock, and turned. The door creaked open, revealing a narrow staircase leading underground. The smell of wet stone grew stronger with every step. At the bottom, there was a small room lit by a single hanging bulb. In the middle of the room stood a table. On it, an old wooden box. The key in my hand pulsed once, softly, like a heartbeat. Then it stopped. I opened the box. Inside were letters, dozens of them, written in the same elegant handwriting as before. The first one began, "If you found this place, then you've come further than anyone before you. This key once belonged to your mother. She used it to lock away what she couldn't face, the truth about your birth, and the life she left behind." I dropped the letter, hands shaking. My mother had died when I was 12. She'd never spoken about her past, never even mentioned this building. But as I looked closer, I saw a photograph at the bottom of the box. My mother, smiling faintly, beside the same woman from the earlier photo, and between them a baby, me. That's when the whispers began again, surrounding me from every wall. "You've returned what was taken," they murmured. "Now leave it buried." The bulb above me flickered violently, and the key slipped from my hand, hitting the floor with a sharp metallic sound. When I looked down, it had turned to dust. I ran, up the stairs, through the hall, out into the rain. By the time I reached my apartment, the building behind me looked different. The windows were dark, the walls cracked, like it had been abandoned for decades. I still don't know what I unlocked that night, or what I set free, but sometimes, when it rains, I hear a faint metallic sound outside my door, like a key searching for its next owner. Thank you for listening to my story. If it captivated you, please subscribe, like, and share this video. I'd love to read your thoughts in the comments. Your support means the world.